Glencore subsidiary has pleaded guilty to multiple counts of bribery after admitting to giving inducements to African officials. The mining conglomerate anticipates paying over $1 billion to settle corruption and market manipulation violations. VOA's Ndiho has more.
A subsidiary of British mining and trading giant Glencore formally pleaded guilty to 7 counts of bribery concerning oil operations in Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and South Sudan. The Swiss-based multinational company expects to pay up to $1.5 billion to settle bribery and market manipulation wrongdoings. Subsidiaries in the US, Brazil, and Britain have now pleaded guilty to criminal offenses. Glencore CEO Gary Nagler said in a statement issued to reporters, "We recognize there has been misconduct in this company historically. We have worked hard to correct that." U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in May said a $1.1 billion agreement with the U.S. will resolve a decade-long scheme to bribe foreign officials across 7 countries and separate criminal and civil charges alleging one of the company's trading arms manipulated oil prices at 2 of the U.S. largest shipping ports.
Today, the Justice Department is announcing charges in 2 separate districts and in 2 separate criminal cases involving Glencore, one of the world's largest mining and commodity trading companies. The company has agreed to plead guilty in each case.
Lawrence Ndikumana, a professor of economics at the University of Massachusetts and a co-author of the book On the Trail of Capital Flight from Africa, The Takers and the Enablers, says in the last 5 decades, Africa has lost nearly $60 billion, which is more than the continent has received in foreign aid, foreign direct investments, and remittances to corruption.
So we chose 3 countries with deliberate attempt to have some representation of the countries that suffered the most from capital flight. We chose Angola, Cote d'Ivoire, and South Africa, and they all feature very highly in terms of the amount of capital flight in our analysis. But those countries also have something in common, which is high endowment in natural resources. Angola is one of the premier exporters of oil. Cote d'Ivoire is one of the probably the top exporter of cocoa, and South Africa has virtually everything.
Ndikumana argues that African citizens should be concerned because the capital flight is funded and fueled by money from minerals and resources that belong to the African people, but end up enriching private individuals embezzling those funds.
South Africa is one of the most, if not the most, unequal society in the world. In Angola, wealth commingles with abject poverty. In Cote d'Ivoire, the farmers who are producing the cocoa are still poor.
Glencore Energy is to be sentenced in November after admitting to paying more than $28 million in bribes to secure preferential access to oil and generate illicit profits between 2011 and 2016. The November sentencing will likely wrap up a multinational inquiry. Ndiho, VOA News, Washington.